Evening everybody, Kev the Noise Davis checking in again after a fabulous weekend of karting once more, and this time it was all the way down to Melbourne, North Melbourne, in fact the Puckapunyals race circuit, home of the Eastern Lions Kart Club, and boy oh boy, they set up a fabulous event. So thanks to the club there for hosting us and letting obviously the RKA Association utilise their facilities. What fabulous facilities they are next level, I promise you. So while we were down there, it was the Oceania Championships. It was RKA Retro Karting Australia's round number 1 clash, brought to you by DPE Kart Technology. And a big thank you first of all to the rest of our sponsors. So Arrow Karts, ADA Group, CBF Flooring, the John Home Living, MG Tyres, Pulse Tuning, MIR Race Lines, Jackson by Design. I know they sponsor a little bit as well. We've got some great trophies from the boys. There's a few more that I might miss a couple, but they'll be in the text that you see with this link. So please thank these sponsors greatly. They do help the series be what it is. And when I say what it is, 81 entries were received for this first round clash. It was amazing. So there was some top drivers coming back to karting and some really good drivers still in it. So moving on to the races, let's start with the, I'm going to call them the Sumos, the super heavy class. And a great racing all day long, by the way. So not just the finals, which I'll talk about, but there was some fabulous racing throughout. Please watch the videos. You can see what I'm playing there right now behind me. There's some great action, and it is in 1080p on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, so you can watch it on the big screen, and you'll get a much better view than you will on your phone. So please bear that in mind. But first of all, the Clubman Super Heavies, which I call the Sumos lovingly. The winner, Andy Cash, absolutely stormed it. He was having a cracker day. So, Andy, well done, mate. It was a brilliant drive from Andy. He really did show him how to do it. Strawny, the Queenslander, was hoping to get that 1 or 2 spot, but it was Jason Stanley that pipped him, and Strawny felt that maybe he missed the setting in the final. But yeah, the boys up front, they were just a little bit too quick for him, maybe half a tenth off. But he was there or thereabouts all weekend, so unlucky to Strawny. But yeah, the boys did really well. That was your 1, 2, 3. Close behind them, Bruce Otter had a cracker of a drive. So Bruce went really well to get ahead of Lee Everett, who was really on the pace. In the pre-final, Lee, I thought the changes he made may have got him on the podium because he looked super quick. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Brett Dixon then was having a cracker run against my old mate Brendan with an E. And Brendan, having had a bit of an upset in Heat 3, I think the kart was a little bit damaged, so probably just off for the final, but he finished up in P7. Troy Baldy came back to racing, and he is a multiple champion, remember, so Troy gave it all he could, came home P8. Simon Larsey threw everything but the kitchen sink at the car to try and get it to go better, finishes up P9. Simon Harrod P10 was having fun going around in that 27 kart, got his quickest time, I believe, too. And Kurt Dixon, P11. Unfortunate DNFs in that one for Chrissy Skinner. And he was quick too, 50.772. So Chris, a quick enough time. He could have been in the top 6. And obviously, Andy Calvert, unfortunately, had a terrible weekend. All the luck went against him, and a DNF in the final as well. So poor old Andy just didn't have it all his own way. And yeah, unfortunately, he got a DNF in the final as well. So moving on, the Clubman Heavies. And what a cracker it was. And it's hard to say it wasn't the Paul Pittam, Benny Savage show. Benny the Bullet, he gave it everything he got. And honestly, if you want to see the best clean racing that you're ever going to see, and as an example to the kids of how it should be done, but still be ultimately competitive, watch these two. In every race they're in, honestly, they give each other race room, but they are absolutely on the money, and it's so good to watch. I nearly lose, I won't swear, I nearly lose it. I did swear in the commentary, apologies. But yeah, they were absolutely amazing. And the international driver, Adrian Rossetto, came home 3rd, and he was getting quicker and quicker through the day as well. So Adrian, he could have caught with him, but I think the front two, honestly, the pace and the speed that the front two have got is unbelievable. Pittam with the win. Savage 2nd, Rossetto 3rd, and he got ahead of Aaron Jackson. He was really on the pace in the final. Aaron, though, I don't know if the kart went off or the tired arms, bit of wrist pump maybe, but yeah, it was Adrian who was good enough to get ahead of it, Aaron Jackson in the final. Dave Musgrave, P5, Heath Gelbert, P6. They were both really quick all weekend. Just didn't go right in the final, but they were right up there and going really well. Glenn Woodward had a good drive to P7, and now this is where it gets a little bit iffy, because honestly, if I say this name, you're going to love it. He was a V8 driver. Dougal Mcdougal, forever be known now as a Doc. He's going to come back and do some more. He had a blast. Finished P8, and he told me in the interview that I did with him earlier in the weekend, he's just going to putter around at the back. No way. He was right up for a top 5 spot, and he was going quicker and quicker. So watch for him in the next one at Canberra. He could be right up there. So well done to Dougal, the Doc, Mcdougal. And Paulie Thompson, he came home 9th, but he arrived on Sunday morning. No practice, no qualifying, starts at the back of the field and gets himself to P9. He was higher, but just didn't have the pace to hold it through the rest of the day. So well done to Paul, our champion from last year. Comes home P9. Malaska, P10, and Brent Bruce, P11. Unfortunate DNFs for Phil Blood and Mal Mason, who retired out of that one. But they had good races over the weekend as well, so they didn't retire out of every race. But well done to the heavies, or as I would like to call them, the pie eaters. Good on them. So the midgets are... Now, the lights, we'll call them the lights. No, I'm not allowed to call them the midgets. The F100, not F100, so the Clubman lights. And in the Clubman lights, it was super competitive. I mean, super competitive. But Reef Corbett eventually taken the win from an absolute flyer, Nathan Cicluna. And Team Cicluna, honestly, they are super quick. Both Shane and Nathan have brought extra speed this season, and they look absolutely... They're flyers, right up there with a chance. So Corbett gets the win. Nathan Cicluna got P2. And the pole sitter from earlier on in the day, Wayne Burke, first race in the series, Wayne Burke, P3, and he looked quick. So the front three, those three, honestly, any one of those three could have taken it. And whilst they were battling, it brought Melinda Price, last year's champion, straight into the mix. So she was there or thereabouts. And as she said in her interview and a bit of a chat after the racing, she was giving it everything she's got. I mean, everything. She left nothing on the table and came home 4th, very, very close to that front three. Lincoln Burns, he had a few issues, and you'll see him in the footage on the videos. He's got the bright yellow car. You can't miss Lincoln's car. But it was quick, and he got quicker and quicker. He borrowed, I think, a car. He had a few bits he had to use from other people's prized possessions. But he got up there, and he got to P5. Expect him to go quicker in the next one. Mickey Riley, unfortunate to be where he was, 6th. I think he deserved a top 3, definitely. He had a bit of a coming together in the final. He hooked up on the back. I forget who it was, but it just put him back. And honestly, I think he was on for a 1, 2, 3. He was in one of those positions, and he looked super fast. Expect to see him come back. The dynamite kid, he will be quick in the next one. Shane Cicluna, also in the top 5 during the day. Just went wrong for him in the final. A bit of a coming together, but he did finish P7. A good bag of points. Expect to see him come better as well. Evan Broughton came home P8. Brad Tremaine looked quick in P9. And then Ewan Potter, well, he was having a battle all through the final and through the heats, to be honest, with Zelko Gasparak, Chris Coombs, Kean Turner was following them, but Greg Dixon was giving them some hassle too. So there was a good battle at the back of the field. And they weren't far off the front guys, but they were just battling so hard that they probably lost time in the battles they were having. Unfortunate DNF again for Reese Harrod in the 129. He looked quick as well through the weekend, so he wasn't slow, but just issues with the kart, unfortunately meaning a DNF for him. That was your Clubman racing. On to the premier class of the day, and I'm going to start with the F100 Heavies. Formula 100 racing is an absolute blast. It's from probably a few years ago when it was in its heyday, but now in the series that we've got, it's showing the skill you need to have, not only to drive these things, but to keep them running through a weekend and actually make them fast, because it's not easy. It really isn't easy. And an absolute cracker of a weekend for the number 150, Matty Wall, looked unstoppable all weekend. Nobody could get near him. He was absolutely on rails. In the final, they got close, but then he just breezed away at 45.486, quickest time in the final again, and he's just unstoppable. So well done to Matty. He gets the win in the Formula 100 Heavies. Ryan Aitken did indeed try and give it to him, and he pipped Benny Savage, who looked to be second all weekend. So well done to Ryan Aitken. He went really well to get himself up to P2. Benny Savage, the Bullet, in P3, and Josh Pontello. Ooh, he was my dark horse. I maybe put the commentator's curse on him, unfortunately. I really did think he was on for a podium, and he looked good. He looked good. But somehow the front three just had that extra 10th in the final, and they got away from him, and he just couldn't bridge the gap. If they'd fought more, I think he would have been in with the mix. I think he really would, because he's a fast driver. So well done, Josh. He gets P4. Marky Newman, a cracker drive. in the number 70 to get P5, so well done to him. And Tim Monty, great to see Tim there, a blast from the past. Timmy in the number 32 car gets P6, a cracker weekend he had too, he loved it, and he finished just ahead of Aaron Jackson. Aaron really did want to get in that top 5, but he realised how hard it was going to be, and he was battling super hard too. Kurt Woodward, new sticker kit. It's got the noise stickers on the nose panel. Maybe that's probably slowed him down. Maybe I should take my noise stickers off it. But well done to Kurt. New sticker kit. Looks flash. The kart was quick. Had dramas earlier in the weekend, but got it right, and eventually P8 in the final. Pretty good. And Anthony DeMauro, not quite right in the final. I think he was having neck problems. But yeah, just off the pace a little bit in the 191. Finishes P9. And then unfortunately, Tony Grace, slowish at the back, trying to keep up with them, and the reason for that is he had virtually no setup time. The car wouldn't go. 2 heats, it just wouldn't fire up. So they let him at the lunch break get it fired up and going, and eventually it was good, and then he got it going and was all right. Once he got on track, he had some pace, but obviously when you miss 2 heats, it's hard to get that setup right and continue on. Unfortunately, one who definitely would have been up for a podium position in this one, Paul Pittam, had a problem with an engine again. Unfortunately for Paul, he had to retire from that one. And yeah, poor old Paul, the 113, he was quick in this second class, don't you worry, he was fast. But in this one, unfortunately, it just wasn't to be his day that day. So that was your Formula 100 Heavies, F100 as we like to call them. So moving on to the quick kids, the lights, the Formula 100 lights, the premier class of the day. And it was drama-filled, and I mean drama-filled. Fortania, unfortunately, Brett had a bit of a coming together with Steve Riddell. Unfortunately, when the karts touched, they just hooked up and they both ground to a halt coming through the DP chicane. Nothing they could do about it. They both had to get out of the karts and step out and watch the rest of the race. And that was on, I think, lap number 1. So the first lap, that happened. Coming round on the second lap, even more drama, leading the race. It was unbelievable. Reef Corbett and Glenn Riddell coming into the chicane this time. Glenn Riddell's on the inside, Reef Corbett's on the outside, and again are coming together. They hook up straight onto the gravel. Disaster. So the front runners all go out. Who does that leave leading the race? None other than Josh Hunt, and he was a flyer. He put the quickest lap in of the race on the second last lap. Absolutely nailed it, and is quicker and quicker. He was up for a top 3, an absolute cert. But boy, oh boy, did he deserve to come home for the win. Anthony Maha nailed it and almost caught him. He was battling really hard in the mid-race, and he just couldn't quite stay with the pace of Josh Hunt towards the end. So Maha, Anthony, got to P2. And the flyer, Brad Tremaine, he was getting quicker and quicker. 45 zeros, so he was only 100th off of Josh Hunt's time. He was really quick in the number 34 kart. Eventually comes home P3. Well done to Brad. Tyson Pierce, I think he blew up 2, maybe 3 engines. I don't know which one he used for the final, but it was a flyer, and it was supposed to be his old knackered one. It was an absolute rocket. And when all the carnage went on, all of a sudden they were shouting his name on the 3rd lap in P3. It was unbelievable. Brad chased him down and got past him, otherwise he would have been on the podium. But well done to Tyson. Expect to see him come through. He's a tiny fella, but boy oh boy was he quick. He was good. Brad Cady had some dramas earlier on in the day, but looked mighty fast. Some of these drivers, honestly, they are going to be right up there in the next race at Canberra. They are super quick, and they've all got decent pace and decent skill. Paul Kendall, P6, just behind Brad. Mark Vukasic, P7, best presented kart, I believe, so well done to Mark. And he was getting quicker and quicker through the day, so P7 for Mark. Simon Dartell, the famous Hang 10, and he called it after every race, so I had to go and have a beer with him, so well done to Simon. He was finished P8. Darren Turner, P9, again had dramas all day. And then Nick Caravas, I think he got to lap 9 before it stopped, just coming out of the pulse tuning before MIR, and he just sat on the tyres for the rest of the day watching the end of the final. Poor old Nick. And he was quick. He was up in the top 4, so Nick was on for a podium too, possibly. Next time he will be, I'm pretty sure. And then some of the contenders didn't get through this one. Reef Corbett, Glenn Riddell, Steve Riddell, Brett Fortana, Reese Harrod, all had a chance in this race. Honestly, I cannot pick who will be the winner in the final at the next round. Tune in, it'll be live. Get yourselves down to Canberra to watch on, and thanks for tuning in. Kev, the Noise Davis, thanks to RKA, thanks to Michelle, thanks to Lee, thanks to Vass, thanks to the boys, Simon, everybody, so welcoming. It's a pleasure to be there, and we'll see you again soon. Ciao for now.